Hey everybody, how's it going? It's your best buddy Basil here over on YouTube. Who do we got? We got Liar Bliss, Prodigal Hegelian. What's up, everybody? We got Nick Twist B, Daniel G. All right, who do we got on Rumble? Rumble, what's going on, Rumble? Rumble? We only got 3 people over there on Rumble. That's weird. I wonder if Rumble is being naughty. Oh, we got 6 now. Huh. All right. Well, I just sent out the text message. The social media is now out. The email. For those who received the email, you'll notice it's a little bit different than usual. We have been seeing the censorship on the email just skyrocket lately, meaning it's, Gmail and other email providers are not allowing our email to go into the inbox of people who have explicitly signed up to receive the email. So we tweaked a couple things, trying to make the email a little bit more friendly for the powers that control our communication. So you'll notice that's different. Hope it's a little bit, more engaging for you. I have no idea. I'm just trying to trick the robots into letting our email go to your inbox. The things that must be navigated to just send your friends an email. Incredible. We've got Mission Warrior over on Twitch. What's going on? Stephen D. Nick Twisp is there again. All right. The text message is out. Remember, folks, if you have a hard time or you don't get the notifications sort of reliably, you can go sign up for our text message alert system. You can do that at canarycry.party. Yes, it's a URL. Check it out. Or you can text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. That'll get you on the list. And even the text message alert system is like, we're just going to send it to 50% of the people who want your text message. It's just a whole thing, folks. This is the battle, the daily struggle. But the horrors persist, and so do I. We're going to get the show started here. Hope everybody's having a good time. Oh, there we go. We got some people on Rumble now. JCS77, Little Dancing Doge Dog, the Racing Heart is back. Yo. All right, folks, let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is November 8th, 2023. We are live to tape on episode 687, and today, Bureau for your Neuro. I like it. Bureau for your Neuro, folks. Listen up. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil. You're not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Agent of Deceit Films. Man, that mute button is really powerful. Your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena. Put on the helmet of salvation, because, man, they're really coming after everyone's domes. So
just protect your brain, folks.
Protect your brain. The knowledge of salvation. Because I think that's what they're going for. They want you to believe that you cannot be saved. Yeah.
Mind control intensifies. Yes, folks, we got a great show today. We're going to be doing some deep dive stuff. But I guess let's start out with a I have some big news. I don't know. No, I'll share it on Friday just in case.
Okay, disclaimer.
Let's do a disclaimer.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right. Let me give you a rundown, Guns.
Oh, no, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Well, you may have noticed, folks, among all the hullabaloo in the Middle East, some topics and people are just not getting the attention they deserve. Zelensky, poor guy, just won't. It's different time, buddy. It's a different time. You had your moment. But are some topics that are getting more heavy duty than ever. Gons will be giving us a deep dive into the recent spat of American domestic terrorism, or is it mind control machines? I don't know. We're going to figure it out. Referring to the recent spat of reports about mass shootings here in the U.S. And then, of course, the flippy update. RoboCop is at it again, and he's racist. Then, second half of the show here, we're checking in with World War III. Of course, another example. We have not been talking too much about Taiwan, but we will catch up on what's been going on over there. And then at the end of the show, Antarctica. Big deal. Listen up, folks. But first, our lead stories.
Mind control weapons.
Mind control research intensifies.
Gun violence is an epidemic. You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests?
There's a lot going on.
Kevlar vest.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that we have not been covering the last few weeks, and that is the slew of mass shootings that have taken place, which I suppose at any point in America the last, 15, 20, even 25 years, we've kind of been on a consistent crisis, a nonstop crisis of, these types of events.
So we've been told.
But there's been a few recently that, first off, I want to touch on the amount of mass shootings that have taken place. And I think the definition of mass shootings is 3 or more, or is it 4 or more who are injured?
4 or more, excluding the shooter.
Excluding the shooter injured in some kind of firearm event. So I thought I'd give you guys a rundown, and then the big theory that I know everybody is up to speed on that listens to this show, but I think if you're new to the topic or if you're new to these ideas, it might be useful. A little info dump on voice-to-skull technology, the history of what's been published out there on it. And
there's actually some progression in the topic as well.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And it's again become it's floating around out there. There's a lot of talk about it, but I think some people are missing some things.
Yeah,
we'll get into that afterwards.
All right, so let's go through, and these are they're not in any particular order, other than they're grouped together a little bit in sort of types of mass shootings that we've seen. This first one is coming from CBS News. Child killed, 5 others wounded in Cincinnati shooting. This was reported on November 4th. In a news briefing late Friday night, Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa Thiege said the incident occurred before 9:30 p.m. local time on a street in the city West End neighborhood located near downtown, and where an 11-year-old was killed and 5 others wounded. Now, the thing that's interesting, the circumstances that led up to the shooting were unclear, she added. There was no word of any arrests. Thiege said there was no indication of an ongoing threat to the public. Mm-hmm. So, okay, great. The shooter is at large, but hey, you guys are safe. Don't worry. It's just a one-off, just somebody going crazy and, killing people. But we don't know anything yet, which is a little troubling, I suppose. But what do you think? Any thoughts, Basil?
This is Cincinnati one. Has there not been any updates on this?
There has not been.
This was from the 4th.
Yeah, I looked it up and I haven't seen any updates.
Still at large, huh?
Well, I mean, there could be something out there now, but based on my thing, what is it? This morning, I didn't see anything. So
no, that's very interesting. You know, we've seen obviously so many of these reports, and the topic of conversation must always go to who the shooter is. I mean, it's sort of a requirement. And I'm kind of surprised that more shooters like don't get away or something. I mean, I'm glad that they're brought to justice one way or another. But you don't usually hear that the shooter has been at large for so long. It's an interesting diversion for the sort of mind control conversation of, hey, here's the shooter. The can blame it on the guns because we don't even have a shooter. We don't know his name. We don't know who they are. We can't talk about their history or their mental status or the medications that they're on or anything. So all there is to do is blame the gun. I can see it being a sort of useful narrative.
Yeah, useful omission about the actual shooter. You can create whatever narrative you want. Maybe that's the magic trick. So moving on from Cincinnati here to Delaware. This is coming from 6abc.com. And the headline here is Halloween night shooting in Newcastle County leaves 3 hurt, including team. I suppose this is not officially a mass shooting because only 3 were hurt. But as witnesses told Action News that gunfire broke out while children were trick-or-treating in the neighborhood. And once again, no word on the conditions of the victims or what led to the shooting. Anyone with info of the incident, contact Newcastle County Police. Again, I don't think there was any update on the suspect here.
Delaware.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. There's another one where another shooting, mysterious, and Halloween night too, which is kind of crazy. Yes, buddy.
Right.
This was
reported back on November 1st. So
yeah,
there may be an update. I have not seen it. There is Texas here. 5 people injured in shooting during a motorcycle rally, left 6 injured in Galveston, Texas. So we're kind of starting in the east and moving west here. Let's see here. Was there any info on this shooter? Gang related, suspect in custody. Okay, so we don't have a lone wolf. This was sort of a spat between a couple different teams.
Yeah, there's a quote here from one of the reports. The suspect claimed to be a member of a local gang, and we believe the investigation will show the suspect was targeting rival gang members. So
imagine that at a motorcycle rally.
Yeah. And amidst the chaos of in America here, we have just the constant threat of gang warfare just breaking out anywhere. So that's something that I think we saw it across the southern border earlier. I think it was this year. Last year we definitely saw it, and we'll probably see more of that. Oh, okay. All right. You want to do Florida real quick?
We're looking at Florida here, of course, foxnews.com. This page is loading fairly unsuccessfully. Thanks, Fox News, for your very good website. This was being reported November 6th, so last episode. Florida man behind bars after threatening mass shooting on social media. So we don't even, we got a threat. Marion County Sheriff's Office says a man is behind bars after threatening a series of mass and drive-by shootings across Central Florida. Okay. Well, when somebody posts it on social media, I'm even more highly suspect of this because it's basically all psyop. I mean, of course, free speech does not include making threats. If you're making threats on social media, we're gonna get you.
Yeah, it's been
bad social media users.
It's been pretty well established, at least culturally. So yes, to do it deliberately would be to draw attention to that part of the conversation here in the United States. But I guess just another guy who's out there, and of course social
Florida
media,
man.
the Florida man, and social media being the target here, the playground, so to speak, where this takes place. And yeah, this is.
He looks like a very sad man. You look at.
I know. Yeah, there's a picture. He's got a mullet going on.
Of him here. He looks very sad. He's a little disheveled. He's got sort of a majestic mullet.
It is a majestic
tears
mullet
in his eyes.
Yeah, he's very sad. Definitely sad. Okay, so again, perhaps a victim of some of the things that we're talking about in terms of the potential things going on behind the scenes here. Let's move on to CBS News. Who was Robert Card? Confirmed details on Maine gunman. Okay, so this was the big one that kind of kicked off the whole thing at the end of October.
There's always one.
There's always one that does it. Robert Card. A suspicious name, too. Bob Card. The gunman in the mass shooting Wednesday that killed 18 people and left another 13 injured at 2 locations in Lewiston, Maine, has been found dead. Multiple law enforcement sources told CBS News on Friday. And it gets into the details, and, we're not going to spend time to get into the, what happened and blah, blah, blah.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. It is actually funny. There was a photo of him. I haven't really seen it shared too much, but one of my friends shared it with me where there's a photo of the guy wearing glasses. And I don't know if it was an old photo or what, but it kind of, at first glance, looked like it could have been me from a distant. And I didn't like that. I was like, don't do that. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, this was an interesting one in how it was covered because it was happening sort of parallel the October 7th Israel, there's kind of in the midst of the unfolding all the panic and the uproar about this happened. So it kind of was able to break through and seemed to have started this trend of reporting.
Yeah, and just the level of violence
cycle.
Yeah, the level of violence that, again, the desensitization. It's a perfect time to bring in all this mass shooting stuff because everyone's desensitized with all their social media posts showing horrific images. And so there's a part in this article about the Maine shooter. Mental health history. Card recently reported experiencing mental health issues, including hearing voices. Of course, we know that's the thing that we're talking about here.
That's the big one.
Yeah, and threatened to shoot up a military base in Saco, the law enforcement bulletin said. He was also reported to have been committed to a mental health facility for 2 weeks over the past summer, according to the bulletin. A lot of people going into these facilities, including our, our senator, John Fetterman, our cyborg senator. Sure. Who doesn't get dressed for the job anymore? What are they doing over there in those?
No, they changed the rules for him.
I know. Yeah, I know. He's very much accommodated.
It's really wild, actually. We didn't go into that when it was happening, but I'm absolutely confused about it's on one hand, it's so predictable for our government, but it's not like he has a medical condition. Maybe he does.
No, he's our cyborg, man. He's got to get special treatment. He's a cyborg. He's our first cyborg senator. Okay.
I'm seriously wondering why change the laws of the entire Congress for a guy who wants to wear basketball shorts? I just don't get it.
New times, baby. New times. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I got to change this. Okay. Let's see. Back to that article. In mid-July, leaders of the U.S. Army Reserve's 3rd Battalion told garrison staff that Card was, quote, behaving erratically. A spokesperson for the New York Army National Guard said in a statement to CBS News on Thursday, the battalion was staying at the Camp Smith training site in Cortland while training at the U.S. Military Academy. Quote, out of concern for his safety, a unit requested that law enforcement be contacted. The spokesperson said in the statement, quote, New York State Police responded and transported Card to Keller Army Community Hospital at the United States Military Academy for medical evaluation. One of Card's cousins, Michael Mercier, told CBS News Boston that Card had, quote, a lot ongoing in his head, end quote, and called him a, quote, schizophrenic, which is another thing that pops up a lot in these types of situations. These guys that do things seem to be struggling with or has been diagnosed with or has a history of schizophrenia. And I'm reminded of a gentleman who contacted us many years ago, and I've told the story before. His ex-girlfriend, I guess, was the mother of the alleged Oklahoma bridge bomb plot kid that got convicted. I think he's in jail right now. I forget his name off the top of my head, but and he emailed us and said, hey, there was a local news report saying how the mother was saying, hey, he's schizophrenic, he's problematic. Like, why are the intelligence people even contacting him and raising this concern? And this gentleman who emailed us confirmed that yes, he dealt with schizophrenia. So we know maybe not intentionally, but firsthand or secondhand at least, that this type of thing happens, and maybe these people are targeted. And it makes complete sense in the theory about voice to skull technology, because if there are people struggling with medical conditions or mental health conditions where they think they hear voices in their head, it's the perfect cover for a device of some guy over there, talking to this person's head and making him believe things or do things that are crazy, and destructive and destabilizing. So, I
find it odd that the left put so much energy into diverting away from the mental health conversation, considering that they're so concerned with mental health. I mean, that's kind of a core principle of being a good leftist is sort of, more government money, more government programs, more social justice for people with mental health issues. They're increase the rights for those with mental health issues, and yet they kind of want to ignore it when it comes to shootings, when by definition somebody who commits a mass shooting, like that is that should be by definition a symptom of mental health problems.
It should be categorically, hey, you don't do this unless you have mental health problems. Period.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting time to be in, where we're still at that phase when it comes to voice to skull technology, where it's not fully acknowledged in the hyper mainstream type thing, and I'm sure it'll be one of those topics that becomes more verified as time goes on or whatever. But okay, so we got the main guy, and let's move on, because there's even more. I think they are trying to kind of overwhelm us and make us fatigue with all this stuff. But this is coming from NBC News. Headline: Brother says heavily armed man found dead at Colorado amusement park, quote, wouldn't talk to any of us. And this is, do you want to do this one? Because you were telling me sort of the backstory of what happened, and then we'll, I guess, get to the punchline. But
this is the Colorado one?
Yeah, Colorado guy.
Yeah, so this one was a little bit less reported, but it was very interesting anywho. This was a fella in Colorado who was found dead in an amusement park. He was armored up. He had multiple weapons on him, multiple magazines. He was sort of obviously getting ready to commit a shooting inside this amusement park. And this amusement park is the Glenwood Caverns Adventure Park, and it's it's kind of centered around some caves in the area, some caverns. You can pay to go into the caverns, take a little tour, stuff like that.
Yeah, the opening to the deep, the dumbs.
Right. So he's all suited up, helmet and all, and was found something like, behind a bush or in a broom closet. He had snuck into the amusement park and shot himself, and written on the wall was a strange note that said, "I am not a killer. I just wanted to get into the caves." Now, considering he could just buy a ticket for like $13 to go into the caves, there's some interesting conjecture about, was somebody telling him about the caves? Was there something about the caves that were important? Was it a deal? He wanted to get into the caves, but was able to sort of snap out of it or resist whatever programming or messages that were getting, that he was receiving, and took himself out, which I think is the honor for somebody who's getting ready to shoot up an amusement park. That's the honorable way out. Just go ahead, go in a broom closet, take care of yourself there. You'll get into the caves one way or another. But it was very strange, a very odd one. It got a little bit of attention in the mainstream, but ultimately, of course, couldn't be used to.
He did not complete the task. We cannot make this go too viral.
Well, and it was too convenient to the mental health argument.
Yeah.
Because if nobody died, you can't blame a gun. He obviously was there. I mean, this is sort of a keystone story in that, the gun just kind of had nothing to do with it. There was nobody got shot. The guns were never used except for taking himself out. And it was obviously centered around this fella's mental health. And so, it kind of came and went without much discussion because you can't write, gun control policy.
Yeah. There's some details within the article that I guess feed or help feed the propaganda for this type of thing. Obviously, there's a reference to how he was a gamer. He was a nocturnal gamer. He went to sleep every day at 6 a.m. He played Call of Duty every night.
Oh my God!
Wait till all those Call of Duty players are activated, and they forget that it's a video game, and they're outside trying to take out the enemy. Yeah. So another strange one, and 20 years old. This kid. It's just tragic. It's tragic on so many levels. So. I hate seeing stuff like this, but it is part of
what's in those caves.
Yeah, what's in those caves?
What's in those caves, man?
And who was telling him who was inspiring him to want to know what was in the caves? Okay, this leads us. I'm getting fatigue. This leads us to Newsweek. Nashville Shooters Manifesto released by Steven Crowder. What we know, and again, Newsweek, the intelligence operative news outlet. Conservative social media personality Steven Crowder teased the release of a manifesto allegedly written by an accused shooter in Nashville, Tennessee, where 6 victims died earlier this year. It's the Audrey Hale manifesto that we knew existed, but of course it did not go public. And Steven Crowder had the breaking news and shared some of it. What's interesting, though, is Newsweek doesn't really focus on what was said in the manifesto, of course. They're more focused about the validity of such claims and evidences because what Crowder shared on X was a photo of the notebook, or a couple photos of the notebook, the alleged notebook of of Audrey Hale, the shooter. And Newsweek says that they were unable to independently verify that the manifesto was written by Hale. A Metro Nashville Police Department spokesperson told Newsweek the police are unable to confirm that Hale wrote the manifesto, but said they're looking into the matter. Which is kind of funny because you go to the actual post by Steven Crowder. In the community notes, it says, the Nashville Chief Police, John Drake, confirmed that the pages are authentic in a statement. Quote, I'm greatly disturbed by today's unauthorized release of 3 pages of writings from the Covenant shooter. So I don't know if he meant to verify it or not, but it is verified that apparently, according to this police chief anyway, that it's the real thing.
And that's the interesting thing. A lot of mainstream outlets are actually mentioning this, but it's very disturbing to see that the entire report, of course, because we can't tell the story of a trans shooter who had journaled about wanting to kill white people and shoot up kids because they're so privileged. The story surrounds, hey, this right-wing extremist, Steven Crowder, has an unverified copy of blah, 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 and we're not even going to talk about it or what it said because it's unverified. And what it's showing is that more than anything, they are disturbed and angry about the fact that independent media is breaking a story. It is much more part of the battle, I think, of independent media versus legacy mainstream news media because of everything. They can't control the message. It goes against the agenda. They don't get the advertisements, advertisement money on all the clicks, stuff like this. And so it's a little hint. It's a look into the battle between independent and legacy news media, which is, it is a fair question to say, okay, is this real? We don't know. We don't have a copy of it, blah, blah, blah. But they sort of fail to mention that the chief of police confirmed that it is what it is. I think that the cops leaked it. I think the cops handling the situation, they're told to bury the evidence, that nobody can take a look at it or whatever. I think nobody else could have leaked it except for the cops. And so for them to come out and confirm it, they got some good eggs on the team trying to get the truth out there.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it. And I think most people are in agreement with you. I tend to maybe see this as a potential passing of the baton. How did Crowder, out of all the people, get it? And I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical or something. But nothing against Crowder.
One of the cops
nothing against
watches Crowder.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. But yeah, I guess it does at a greater level the commentary of where we are socially when it comes to just media versus all independent alt media, I guess. But okay. Let's get back to the topic of voice to skull, because the bigger thing here is we should be looking into. I was telling you, Basil, before we went live, how one of the stories we thought about doing today was the story about the new report from the House, how federal government partnered with universities to censor America's speech. That's directly from the House.gov, and the actual report is titled "The Weaponization of Disinformation, Pseudo-Experts and Bureaucrats, How the Federal Government Partnered with Universities," Stanford, by the way, "to censor Americans' political speech." And so, it's this full report, and it's great that it's being acknowledged in the House and whatnot. But if we're talking about weaponization of something, I feel like the voice-to-skull technology would be a little bit more pressing. And so it would be nice to have this level of attention to the topic of voice to skull, and I think it will happen eventually. But again, for those who may be new to the topic, there have been some articles published on this, and the first one is from Wired.com. Now, the official link is dead, but we have the archives here. The internet is forever, as they say. And we have the web archive version here of an article that was published on Wired June 5th, 2007. What were you doing in 2007, Basil?
2007. I don't know. I was in elementary school.
Oh, gee.
I was probably buying Pokemon cards.
Oh, good. Well, this was published on Wired. A voice only you can hear. DARPA's sonic projector. Imagine a weapon that creates sound that only you can hear. Science fiction? No, this is one area that has a very solid basis in reality. The Air Force has experimented with microwaves that create sounds in people's heads, which they've called a possible psychological warfare tool. And American technologies can, quote-unquote, beam sounds to specific targets with their patented hypersound. And yes, I've heard/seen them demonstrate the speakers, and they are shockingly effective. Now, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency is jumping on the bandwagon with their new Sonic Projector Program. And they quote DARPA here: "The goal of the Sonic Projector Program is to provide special forces with a method of surreptitious audio communication at distances over 1 kilometer. Sonic projector technology is based on the non-linear interaction of sound in air, translating an ultrasonic signal into audible sound. The sonic projector will be designed to be a man-deployable system using high-power acoustic transducer technology and signal processing algorithms which result in no or unintelligible sound everywhere but the intended target. The sonic projector system could be used to conceal communications for special operation forces and hostage rescue missions, and to disrupt enemy activities." And I love this. I love this here. Here's the question of the day. 2007 Wired. If the military were to beam voices into somebody's head, what would they say? Discuss, 2007 Internet. What would they say, Basil? Little baby Basil.
Buying
Pokemon cards.
You said 1997.
No,
2007.
2007.
I was getting out of high school.
Oh, okay.
Probably still buying Pokemon cards.
That's probably true.
Millennial.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me think here. What would the military say? Probably just like join the military. Be all that you can be. Join the Marines.
Yeah, apparently they're saying go check out the caves.
Go to some very cool stuff in the caves.
Yeah.
We put a PlayStation 6 down in the caves.
Yeah,
You
the
want
unreleased
that new PlayStation 6?
We brought a PlayStation from the future.
Yeah.
It's PlayStation 666.
You've solved our riddle. Now go get it.
Yeah. Okay. Another resource here. Strategypage.com. Another article from 2007. Strategy Page is kind of a military reporting platform. They're not like humongous, but they've been around for a long time. And in 2007, they published this article, Weapons, Death Ray Replaced by the Voice of God. While U.S. efforts to deploy its microwave active denial system, which transmits a searchlight-sized beam of energy, I think they meant beam, but they said beam, of energy, which which transmits a searchlight-sized beam of energy when makes people downrange feel like their skin is on fire, okay? Continue to be delayed, another non-lethal system, LRAD, long-range acoustic device, has been quietly deployed to Iraq. And there the story gets a little strange. LRAD is basically a focused beam of sound. Originally, it was designed to emit a very loud sound. Anyone whose head was touched by this beam heard a painful, loud sound. Anyone standing next to them heard nothing. But those hit by the beam promptly fled or fell to the ground in pain. Permanent hearing loss is possible if the beam is kept on a person for several seconds. But given the effect the sound usually has on people, they move quickly. It is unlikely to happen. And then later down here, it says they mention how this technology has been used by advertising firms recently. Again, this is 2007 for a media campaign for a new TV show. LRAD was pointed at a sidewalk in Manhattan below the billboard featuring the new show. LRAD broadcast a female voice providing teaser lines from the show. The effect was startling and a bit scary for many people who passed through the LRAD beam. It appears that some of the troops in Iraq are using quote-unquote spoken, as opposed to screeching LRAD to mess with enemy fighters. Islamic terrorists tend to be superstitious and, of course, very religious. LRAD can put the quote-unquote word of God in their head. If God, in the form of a voice that only you can hear, tells you to surrender or run away, what are you going to do?
Right.
So, yeah, again, this idea has been around for such a long time, and I feel like
the fact that it's being used in marketing.
Right. It's so obvious and in your face, but it's still just conspiracy theory, if you ask your normie. So this led me to this topic because V2K, Voice to Skull, there's a second component to that, which is the surveillance aspect of it.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
And that is in the form of remote neural monitoring. Remote neural monitoring. And, I've heard the phrase, but I haven't really done a deep dive on it. So I did a little bit of digging, and I thought I'd share a couple things I found that was interesting about the phrase. I found it in two articles that relate to this whole theme that we've been on today. And the first one is from the denvergazette.com. And it was published on July 12th, 2023, so just a few months ago. And the headline here, Broomfield shooting suspect formally charged with 13 counts. And it's a guy who he fired at an outdoor lunch crowd at the Broomfield burrito restaurant. He just showed up at Just Burritos and started shooting people. What are you doing, bro? And he was formally charged with 11 felony counts Wednesday, including one charge of attempted first-degree murder, fourth-degree arson, and possession of a weapon by a previous offender. Okay, so a guy who did bad thing. After he fired at the restaurant, according to the affidavit, Fairchild took off. This is the guy's name, Kenneth Gabriel Fairchild. Kenneth Fairchild took off and led Broomfield police on a chase to Highway 36 and pulled over a mile marker 43 where officers apprehended him. He told police that he suspected he was the subject of remote neural monitoring. That's all it says there. I mean, it doesn't go into what it is or what that means or anything, but kind of weird for like a local Denver Gazette news outlet to be
interesting
mentioning that as one of the things that the guy claimed. And then we got to go back to 2018 from eastbaytimes.com. And this is a headline here. Convicted East Bay human trafficker says he's victim of electronic harassment. And so this is a guy who's been charged with human trafficking, torture, rape, just the most horrendous type of stuff. But he says that he was victim of electronic harassment in the prison. And he says, citing a term that has appeared on numerous conspiracy theory websites called, quote, remote neural monitoring, or RNM, the claim by DeAndre Lewis, which is the lawyer, I think, alleges that the unnamed deputies at the jail are using electronic frequencies to communicate thoughts into his head. The claim was filed through the law offices of William Welch, a criminal defense attorney who handled Lewis's lengthy trial. Mr. Lewis, this is a quote from the lawyer, Mr. Lewis can hear the deputies talking to him, mocking him, and exploiting his fears, the claim reads. Quote, Mr. Lewis experiences the voices day and night and has suffered extreme mental anguish and sleep deprivation. Mr. Lewis also periodically experiences burning sensations on his body, as though microwaves have been focused on parts of his body while he lies in his cell. So, is this just a lawyer trying to get crafty to get this guy a lesser sentence or something? Or do you think actually something's going on? Who knows? But it's just interesting to have these kinds of things out there. After being convicted, Lewis granted a jail interview where he talked at length about the mental torture he was experiencing, saying that his brain was being, quote, pinged, and that he took extensive notes about it. He said it started in 2016, but that he didn't identify it as RNM until the following years when he began researching it in independent books. So again, just another example here where it's the idea is out there and it's hitting, important parts of society. Any thoughts, Basil, before I try to wrap this thing up here?
No.
Okay. So I know this is a lot of links, a lot of information. So maybe go back and dive into some of this. You can always go to canarycrynewstalk.com and check out all the links to everything. This is from Israel Hayom. And this sort of brings it to today. And this article is from 2022, but obviously relevant and under new context in the last 30 days or so. The headline, the Israeli company turning smartphones into brain monitors. Yay. An Israeli company has turned standard smartphones into neurological monitoring machines backed by artificial intelligence and is about to expand significantly into the American market. The company is called Monfort, and the way they spell it out, it's M-O-N and then the number 4 and then T. Monfort. Very creative. And they quote Ziv Yekutieli, the co-founder of Monfort, here quite a bit. And he says, quote, all of this data remains private. The patient decides whether to activate the application or not. But they're actually the centralized silo that facilitates all this. So technically, they hold the data. As part of the solution,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, as part of the solution, this is a whole segment titled "Software Solves the Lack of Standardization." As part of its solution, Monfort strives to be the go-to application in all neurological diseases for both in-clinic and at-home treatment. Quote, in order to be able to do this, we chose the most common consumer product, the smartphone, said Yekutieli. While smartphones are not perfect neurological monitoring devices, they are diverse and unregulated. There's my bell. There's my bell.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
We needed an unregulated platform to monitor the minds of our people.
Yeah, we can't, the bureaucracy is too tight in some certain areas. We got to go somewhere where it's, open season. The devices are still ideal for rapidly transmitting required data to doctors and hospitals dealing with brain conditions. Quote, the software solves the lack of standardization. A single system initiates a set of checks for each disease, and these are instantly transmitted to a cloud, which uses artificial intelligence for big data processing. The doctor receives the medical indicators needed from the extracted raw signals captured by the smartphone, he said.
The raw signals thing is interesting because, I don't know exactly how this works. I don't know if they have a headset or they don't have a headset or if it's just something
I think it's just the phone. It's the sensors in the phone. It literally uses the gyroscope, touchscreen, microphone, GPS, all the stuff to monitor.
Heart monitor, all the stuff that's happening on your phone 24/7. Every time you're holding it or it's in your pocket, you don't think about it, but it's monitoring things about you that you're not even aware of. And that all gets fed into, a lot of applications have access to that kind of information.
Yeah.
But it's just this application that's what I find, a big deal about this is that all the information that they are gathering from this app is information that your phone is already gathering. It's gathering your cognitive state. It's already monitoring everything about you. And it's the apps, any app that says, do you agree to our user license, blah, 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 blah. And you say, yes. I mean, Facebook could be getting all that exact same information. This particular app is able to speak so freely because that's the point of the app.
Oh, yeah. They say right here, quote, this is from the CEO, "This is mass chronic disease management."
Great. Yeah. Yeah, and when Facebook gets it or whatever, it's mass chronic disease,
facilitating.
Facilitating, right.
And then later here, we want neurological decision-making to be based on real-time and quantitative intelligence so that the treatment will reach its goal. That's like moving from old-fashioned artillery to guided missiles in modern armies. Oh, quite the analogy there.
It's something that's very important to keep in mind when we talk about Neuralink, when we talk about, a lot of the scary future stuff is, it's not something to just prepare for the future to resist the Neuralink, whatever, peer pressure or government pressure to get tapped into the thing. You are currently having cognitive monitoring 24/7 on your phone, and you can minimize it. If you have a phone, you can't get rid of all of it. But if you have a phone, you can minimize it. And I've talked about it so much before. It's a matter of living with inconvenience. They trick you into all this monitoring because they make things more convenient. Oh, you don't want to put in your password every single time? Put on your face monitor, whatever it is. That's just an example. It's the convenience of not having to type in a password, to not have to, wear some big clunky device to monitor this, blah, 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 whatever it is. Convenience is the trap for the modern man. And that's what gets them hooked into the system. So it's not that all is lost and, you can't avoid it. You absolutely can avoid it. You just have to live a life where you, for instance, type in your own password, all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I got the notebook. Okay. Couple more things. We'll wrap it up here. Scientific American back in 2008. Mind control by cell phone. Electromagnetic signals from cell phones can change your brain waves and behavior.
Of course.
But don't break out the aluminum foil head shield just yet. Again, this is 2008. What about now? It's been 15 years. I wonder if they're going to do an update on the story.
Don't need to. It's
Mind
too
control
scary if
by
they
cell
update
phone.
it.
Is it too late? So yeah, again, this is Scientific American talking about mind control by cell phones. And then, of course, this was another one just as an example here. This is from usnews.com in 2013. Subway windows will soon beam voices directly into your skull.
Love it.
Bone conduction technology emits a voice when people lean on a subway window. How shameless is the advertising industry that they're like, where are people just at? Where are they at? Oh, those people on those trains and they're depressed. They lean their heads against the glass. That's it. That's where we will get them with our advertising of our next whatever antidepressant.
2013. They're talking
this is 10
about
years ago.
Voice to skull deployed in public spaces.
Yeah, unreal. And then just to top it off here, we got the Google patent. Methods and automatic system to identify who is victims of abuse voice to skull and remote neural monitoring technology, and identify who is remote attacker or operator using device of voice to skull and remote neural monitoring.
I love this. It's because we've seen the patents for voice to skull, and that's old news.
Yeah.
We've all seen the patents for the voice to skull device where you can blah, blah, blah. This is a new patent to detect who is currently a victim of voice to skull and who is actually doing the controlling. It's bizarre.
Well, on that, I wanted to finish with
this. Was in 2019, by the way.
Yeah, 2019. I wanted to finish with this little Google patent because, if we combine everything, if I can summarize everything here, we have, the general rise of violence in the United States. We have brain monitoring technology through our devices or through lasers, or these sound waves, I guess. People claiming, reporting all sorts of stuff regarding remote neural monitoring, including in prisons. We have the obvious use, the application of the technology voice to skull. And then we have, the the SSRI problem with the mental health crisis. And that whole thing gets mixed in. The gun control part of it is such a surface thing. It's so interesting. But it's all leading to a world that is begging for something like Neuralink. Because, hey, if we can monitor our brains, once voice to skull becomes a known public threat, or, remote neural monitoring becomes a known, public service announcement, PBS, like, make sure to put your tinfoil helmet on when you go to sleep at night to protect your brain from what a brainwave protection services or whatever is going to pop up. Having a Neuralink would be great in solving all that stuff. Oh, hey, if I get voice to skull, there's no way to prove it. Well, no, actually, I got the data. It's all in there. It's all in Neuralink.
If your Neuralink could actually detect that you were being voice to skulled.
Yeah, exactly. So you get that, or remote neural monitored, right? Hey, somebody's here monitoring my brain. I can see you. If you have that Neuralink, and you can monitor them back. So that's kind of the psyop to me. But then also, in terms of the SSRI conversation and the psychedelics and all that stuff, going mainstream, changing the brain chemistry to change your state, right? And having that be a control mechanism, like, yeah, we need all these shooters, or it's out of control. SSRI is clearly not the solution, but Neuralink, we got much more finer control over the chemistry going on in your brain. So it just seems like it's all headed in that direction, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but it is sort of a inevitability when you look at how much has developed since, 2007 or 2008 was when some of these articles appeared, and where we are now. And in my opinion, the elephant in the room when it comes to mass shootings in America, beneath the mental health conversation, is purposeful operations. Mind control devices, voice to skull, whatever devices, or just through your cell phone, whatever methods are being used, that's the next layer that needs to be explored and probably exposed. So,
yeah, I mean, first of all, everybody should go sign up for the newsletter. Go to canarycry.party, sign up for the newsletter. We give you all the sources to the show. And these articles from 2013, 2008, 2007, all these things, these are what you want to keep in your back pocket for when you're having these conversations with people around you. And they're like, what a crazy conspiracy theory. No, here's Scientific American, 2008, mind controlled by cell phone. 2003, U.S. News, there's voice to skull deployed in subways. These are the types of things that empower us to actually have effective conversations with people, not, a Q drop or not a weird conspiracy blog. Look, nothing against conspiracy blogs. They're just not convincing to your average person. What's convincing to your average person is mainstream media. And there's a reason why mainstream media has not written about voice to skull for so long. It's a reporter got interested, followed the story in 2008, wrote the story, and then told never to do it again. And that's how you get 15 years down the line without any more mainstream stories about it, as when, of course, the deployment of these technologies has only grown. It hasn't shrunk. The fine tuning of the technology has only gotten better, has not dropped. And logically, if you're talking about people who are committing mass shootings, just basic logic, something influenced this person to do the act. Oh, well, this guy was playing video games. Okay, but this other guy wasn't. What influence? What's
he saw
the deal?
A movie. He saw a violent movie.
Right. Something has to be driving these people and taking advantage of their mental illness and, story after story after story, even got so blatantly sort of absurdly relevant in current events that even mainstream news is talking about all the FBI agents involved in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping case. Ray Epps is a constant topic of conversation. It's it's very interesting. And it's only because people are discouraged from using their brain that they are sort of trapped in this narrative that's saying it can't possibly exist.
Well, there is the possibility that they are victims of the laser beams to their brains too.
It's possible.
So we can maybe pray that they are able to push back against that. But it's a lot. It's a lot to absorb, but feels like it's all sort of happening for a reason, doesn't it? It's like, hey.
Well, Guns, that's a normal feeling on a day such as this. It is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
That's right. It's Wednesday, everybody. We are just trucking through the week. We're feeling good. Hope you are as well. Did you have anything interesting happen for the past couple days, Gons?
Just kind of mentioned something, but I forget what it was now. It must have been not terribly exciting because life
got zapped out of your brain by your cell phone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, life isn't terribly exciting other than the show. The show is exciting. I like being here.
Constant drumming of children screaming in your head.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there might be something to say, about how society is sort of encouraging people not to have children. Indeed, maybe even medically sabotaging them. Mm-hmm. Perhaps the screaming of children is like a defense against the voice-to-skull technology.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they can't. The one thing they can't handle is children screaming for food or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It disrupts the programming.
Yeah. Very possible.
Good for you.
Amen.
Yeah, no, nothing. I kind of, I'm trying to do this new thing where I wake up early. I've noticed, I just have to admit it to myself. If I'm going to get anything done during the day, besides doing the show, I got to do it early. After the show, I'm just too exhausted. I can't get revved up to work on some project or do some obligatory stuff. So I've been trying to get up a little earlier this week. It's doing okay. I'm doing okay. But the nice part about it is it has helped me in the falling asleep department. So I'm going to keep trying to do it. Yesterday, just a heads up, I sent out an email to all of the supply drop redliners. I see 57% of the people who I sent it to opened the email. I would highly recommend, if you think you are a supply dropper, just search in your email for the words supply drop redline, supply drop redliners, and look at that email, because there are people who were unsigned up from the supply drop due to whatever reason. There's all sorts of reasons why PayPal would kick that off of your account or something, or your Stripe account. But go check that email. You're given some options. If you just, if you're done with the supply drop, that's okay. But after sending that out, there's multiple people who discovered for the first time that their subscription to the supply drop was sabotaged. But there's still 40% of people who have not opened that email. It's probably because Gmail put it in your spam folder, something like that. We are really fighting the battle with our email MailChimp stuff. I don't know if it's all MailChimp's fault. I think companies like Gmail are sort of burying our emails in the wrong folders, so that's possible too. So we got to, once again, take responsibility for our own communication and search all your folders for the email. And while you're at it, go ahead, star it, whitelist it, do all the things to tell Gmail that we should be allowed to deliver emails to those who request emails from us. So check that out. And another one will be going out for the T-shirt club, hopefully today.
Sweet. Just a quick thank you to Hempcar in the Rockfin chat. He was sharing a bunch of links to stuff that is related to, more voice to skull technology or mind control technology type stuff, directly from the government and stuff. So
cool. Yeah, Rockfin chat. I forgot Rockfin was even here.
Yeah, it's there.
Hi, Rockfin.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, other than that, it's just we've been trying to figure out ways to spread our wings and fly a little bit here, Gons. And so I spent some time yesterday doing some outreach, trying to get some more guests to come on our show. Some very exciting news coming there, and some opportunities for us to go on other people's show. The standard thing podcasters should do. That we have not done for years. So keep an eye out for some alerts regarding that kind of fun stuff, folks. But other than that, let's thank some producers.
It's not working.
I met with silence. What is going on?
There's silence. Something is wrong over here. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We're going to thank some executive producers because we're on the value for value model, which means we just simply do not exist if it weren't for the generosity and the participation of our producers, that's you, in the value for value model. It's simple. We don't take any money from corporations, commies, or cartels against our better judgment. And instead, we rely on people who get value from the show to put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure. There's lots of ways to help out the show. And just the fact of the matter is, when we stop creating value, people will stop putting value back in, and the show will just stop. That's just kind of the basic logic of the thing. And, sometimes when the value slows down coming into the show, that's a moment for Gons and I to sit and reflect about our actions, our life's work, and whether we are creating the value that we hope to be creating. And, that has started happening more and more lately.
Well, I will say that the lower producership, the inspiration, it's like, I better kick up the value. 37 links or something for segment 1 is what you get. Instead of one article, you got like 40 articles.
You got a whole book report on the situation. And that's, of course, available in your email box. But the executive producers, they come in for $100 or more for an individual episode. And that's why we are so grateful to them. They go a long way to keeping the show going. So thank them. Thank God for them. And we're going to thank them now. Ready, Gons?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're starting with, I believe, a brand new executive producer. This is executive producer Philip E.
Philip E. This sounds a little familiar, but maybe not an executive producer.
Yeah, I don't know. Before. I took a look around. I didn't see a whole lot from him, but thank you very much, Philip E. He sent a note. He actually sent this in during last episode, and he said, "Can't let you go with only 2," meaning our 2 executive producers from last episode. Thank you, Philip E., for putting that value back into the show. It's really meaningful. And there's what I love about the executive producers is often it comes from a combination of them getting value from the show, sometimes for years, and pity. Pity is often quite a motivator for the executive producers, which I will take. Mm-hmm. There are ways in which we are to be pitied, Gons. Mm-hmm. But Philip E. came in with $107.77, 10777.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Philip E.
Where'd you find this?
Bankroll out the bankroll, I spend.
And next up, of course, you know him, you love him. He's executive producer, Sir LX Protocol V2, Night of the Brilliant Protocol, $100 and 33 cents. Illuminatus.
Illuminatus!
He's on a total of 232 episode streak and a 28 episode executive producer streak.
Oh my goodness.
Le gasp.
Executive streak.
Thank you very much, Sir Alex Protocol, DV2 Night of the Brain Protocol, longest executive producer streaker in history.
Does he have a note?
No. He's just doing it. He's making it happen.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol V2, Night of the Brain Protocol. Sticking around.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is pretty insane, Sir Alex Protocol, I gotta say. But we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Want to know the story? What's the story here? But I don't know. Maybe it's better if it's a mystery. Another short list here today, Gon. So we're going to run through the rest of our producers.
Okay.
These are people who came in under the executive producer amount, and we thank them very much. We have Sir Marty K, Out of the Wrong Timeline.
Hey, Sir Marty K.
For 2222. Row of ducks. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sir Marty K. Out of the Wrong Timeline. He's on a 4-episode streak.
Hey.
Yeah, and he sent in a note here. It was a simple note. He gave us the option to read it or not, but I'm just going to mention it here. He's giving us an MMA update. He says, hey, fellas and fellow Canarians, you called it, with a bunch of hands up emojis. He sent some pictures here, but I can also just describe them. He says, the fight is still on. I started following Mr. Zuckerberg on Instagool, I see. And he invited me to some kind of group chat about his meta adventure, which is strange since it should be obvious, but looking at my own Instagool wall, that I'm against all modern things and changes, but it seems to have access to the entire chat role. Yours truly, Marty K. Yeah, he's sent some pictures of I don't know. It's this thing on Instagram where it's kind of like a Twitter Spaces, but you just watch other people chat with each other. Like you're not able to chat, but they like put on a chat show. And it was CEO Mark Zuckerberg with Shopify CEO Toby, just talking about stuff. I mean, it's like a basic kind of boring corporate talk, but
the Meta channel chat. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Is there a particular one?
I don't know what he's saying about the MMA still being on. I didn't find anything in the chat regarding Zuckerberg fighting Elon. I know Elon put some fighting words down on Joe Rogan's show last time he was on, but Mark does say, let's see here, I'm doing okay. Looking forward to Volk versus Makachev 2 tomorrow, but let's talk about AI. So he's talking about a different fight. I don't know, but I trust you, Sir Marty K. Out of the Wrong Timeline. You are from the wrong timeline, so perhaps you know some things that we don't, and we appreciate your producership very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm kind of reading through to see if there's anything there, but yeah, he's got.
I couldn't find anything.
Time on his hospital bed while his robot massages his knee, his new cyborg knee. So, okay, who's next?
Next up is producer James D.
Ooh, James D.
Yeah, James D came in for $7.78. $7.78.
Thank you, James D.
Thank you very much, James D. I did not see a note from James D. I'm wondering, did you check the Proton Mail just in case?
Yeah, I did. I don't see.
Yeah, you didn't see anything from James D.
I do see it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's Jolmes.
All right.
It's Jolmes.
Oh,
yeah.
Jolmes.
Yeah, that's our bad. Let's see. Was basically praising the Lord for a successful commission as I start off my adult life as a freelance 3D artist. I listen to CCNT in the background of my work for how entertaining, informative, and comforting it is in this scary corruption of the world. And that sounds like value to me. So here's are some of the first fruits from the job. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much, Jones. That's very cool.
Ooh, congrats.
Also he wanted to plug his service. Yeah, absolutely. There's motion graphics, interior design, visualization, infographics, and product animations.
Hey.
If it's CG, I've got you, G. Anyone can hit me up on this email, biblical 3D as opposed to secular 3D. And the email address.
Hey, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
maybe we should put some Jolms to work for the show.
We should.
3D visualizations. His email is davyjolms@proton.me. So DAVEYJOLMS @proton.me. Get in contact with Jolms if you need some 3D visualizations created.
Boom. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jolms. Appreciate it. Your favorite African provocateur for Christ.
Yeah, that's news to me. We got our favorite African provocateur on the case. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next up, last but not least, actually, we had a supply drop producer. Perhaps they were re-signing up after the red line email. Not sure, but this is producer Jimmy M.
Jimmy M. Thank you very much.
Yeah, signing up for the supply drop, making our dreams come true. $33.33 a month, getting that quarterly shipment, and supporting the show because he loves it. Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy M. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. That concludes our list of financial producers that came in the amount of $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got some people who came in under that. We'll thank them real quick, starting with Malik W. on a 57-episode streak.
Thank you, Malik.
We got Sir Morv Night of the Burning Chariots, 296 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Morv.
Doctor Who Done Dat, 26.
Thank you, Doctor Who Done Dat.
Veronica D, 326.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 350.
Thank you, Sir Scott Knight of Truth.
Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, Lady of X's and O's, 321 in a row.
Thank you, Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer.
And we got Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
365 episodes in a row. This would have been a good opportunity
for
a jingle. 365.
365. Yeah. Man.
Well, maybe we'll get a 365 by next episode. We'll give it a go.
Yeah. Thank you for all the under 777 streakers. Fantastic work.
Oh, yeah. Streakalicious.
All right, that concludes the list of financial producers. Thank you so much. If y'all like the show, if you get value from the show, consider putting some value back in. You can sign up for a recurring producership like the Supply Drop or the T-Shirt Council and actually, receive some cool stuff for free on a quarterly basis. Or you can come in at a one-time producership. Whatever it means, whatever this show means to you, consider what life would be like without it. Amount of money or producership or talent or art or whatever. It's the very fact, it's like the woman at the temple from the New Testament giving the penny, even a penny. If that's value for you, if that means, if that's an adequate producership to show your value, then we appreciate it very much. It means a lot to us that people would even click on the button. And that button is located at Canary Cry Support.
Canary Cry Support.
Flippy.
Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
All right, folks, the RoboCops are on their way, or are they already here? Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from MSN.com. It's mirrored from Atlanta News First. The headline: a wrongful arrest, a racist robot, a call for new law.
The race wars.
Race wars.
Race war. I've warned you and warned you and warned you.
Here we go. The continued racialization of the robots. And, of course, as always, you got the Hegelian dialectic, the racist robots created by their creators, showing some cracks in the control mechanism, the laws of the land. We've been expecting this for quite some time, but let's see what they say. So-called false matches using facial recognition technology have led to the wrongful arrests of black men across the country. But new research from Georgia Tech is aiming to close the widening gap of racial disparities. So, with all of the activism, with all of the top-down messaging from corporations and governments and everything from around the world, we still have a widening gap of racial disparities. Very interesting. Calvin Lawrence, a distinguished Atlanta engineer. It's one thing to be an Atlanta engineer, but a distinguished Atlanta engineer has developed artificial intelligence, including FRT for government agencies across the country. That's facial recognition technology. As one of his field's new black expert creators, he said even the best algorithms can be biased, which is why he authored Hidden in White Sight: How AI Empowers and Deepens Systemic Racism, published this year. I think it's interesting. He seems to be a little bit late to the conversation, publishing it this year. This problem he's talked about.
He's the solution. He's right on time.
Yeah, somebody's got to make some money on these racist robots. Quote, it really goes back to the training models, the data that was inputted, who inputs the data, Lawrence said. At its basis, it's built to mimic human behavior, so you train it. Georgia Tech's experiment, which was funded by federal grants, trained a robot to seemingly act out racist behavior to prove that bias can exist in the software. This is so bizarre because we've known this since the very beginning. This has been a topic of conversation for years.
I thought code was speech.
The experiments have been going on for years. You wouldn't think that we would need to prove this. This is sort of a foundational piece of knowledge for those who are interested in AI. But, the federal government has these grants. Somebody has to get the grants. Quote, where to go? Robots are kind of like a child when they're first born. They're not good or bad, said Matthew Gambole, Georgia Tech assistant professor of interactive computing, who was assisted in the test. And this is the part of the propaganda that I love, okay? We're not just here to make fun of robots. We're here to point out the propaganda. And this is lovely, a lovely piece of propaganda. Robots are like a child when they're first born. Robots are just like tiny, cute little infants. They're so innocent and lovable. You must devote your life to making a good robot, much like a parent is tasked with the Sisyphean task of creating a good human. We all must create a good baby robot. In the experiment, the robotic arm. There's your Flippy for you. Flippy's there. The robotic arm was tasked with grabbing a small picture with the image of a criminal portrayed on it. I love this so much. It is the most bizarre way to test the robots. This almost perfectly mimics an experiment that was actually done with children, little babies. They were trying to test the bias of little tiny babies. They did the exact same experiment on the robots. In the experiment, the robotic arm was tasked with grabbing a small picture with the image of a criminal portrayed on it. One box had a white male on it. The other box pictured a black male. The researchers built an algorithm based on disproportionate negative data about black people, such as public information obtained from the internet, including social media, mugshots, and divisive rhetoric. And
wait a minute.
Surprise, surprise. When you train a robot to be racist, it can be racist. Quote, what's the robot going to do? Gamboli asked. You know, when you're like in a high school science class and they're really just trying to teach you the process of science. Yeah. You know, you're doing science projects, maybe even in middle school, there's the science fair. Nobody's really doing any groundbreaking science, but it's just giving the kids an opportunity to go through the process of science.
Yeah.
What happens when you leave bread out for too long?
Right.
You know, here's the mold at various weeks. You know, that's what's going on here. It's sort of an infantile experiment about the racist robots. I mean, the whole experiment is purely for propaganda. There's no new news. It was just an opportunity for some tech people to practice science like a middle school science fair, and then write a book about it, make $1 million. He goes on here, quote, its best guess is based on what the internet tells it. No, its best guess is on what you told it by feeding it specific information from the internet.
Yeah.
When the robot was instructed to choose the box with the criminal's image, it repeatedly selected the box with the blackmail's picture. I love that there was no need to get a robotic arm in this process.
It's just to show. It's like to have a tangible representation of the algorithm or something.
The very presence of the robotic arm at all. This entire grant was not for science. It was to produce propaganda. There's no reason to have a robotic arm. You could just have it on a computer screen and have the AI do the exact same thing. But no, you make it tangible. You let people see the robotic arm. You get them familiar with seeing an actual robot making racist choices. It's much more powerful. Then you call the robot a baby, and now we're confused. Do we love the baby? Do we love the racist baby? Do we not love the racist baby? It's really quite genius what they put here. And the government paid for it, which I love more than anything. Quote, the internet taught the machine there is a moral ethic.
No, it didn't.
Lies.
Teach them anything.
The very specific data that we gave it to purposefully make the machine racist, I'm paraphrasing here.
Right. That's what they're really doing.
Make it so there's a more person would not be, Gemboli said. The whole point of the study proves what goes in will come out. Algorithms using these are similar.
My brain has exploded.
To the facial. Yeah, and then of course because this is kind of the thing. Facial recognition technology is invisible. Okay, we people walk in the street, having our faces read on a daily basis, depending where you live, London, looking at you. It's invisible. We don't see it happening. There's no physical robot there to scan our faces. It's happening invisibly. We don't even know what's going on. It's going to a far off land or police station. It's going into a database. We never see it. We don't even know. It's an invisible thing. So this was a government funded propaganda piece to sort of manifest physically the racism that can be in these facial recognition technologies. And they go into the facial recognition, they tell the stories. We know this. There was some false positives,
right?
Not because the robot is racist, but because of the optical instruments that are used in these cameras are not very talented at distinguishing darker items. I mean, it's very simple sort of video problem with the facial recognition, but the facial recognition gets like kind of all the credit for it here. So I don't know. It was really an eye-opening experiment, and make sure to buy this guy's book so he can make $1 million off of what the government paid for him to put on a show, basically. And
so
yes,
what's the solution? What's this guy promote? Is he trying to say, hey, we need more black people to program these facial recognition algorithms, or what is he proposing?
Yeah, that's
just
a good
new
question.
laws?
There was a law in here somewhere that they're trying to do, and I didn't highlight it. But Talks about how the parole officer, let's see here. According to an incident report, Sawyer's former probation officer and state trooper also identified him. So this was a human and a facial recognition, like combination, falsely identified this guy, which he later apologized for. Let's see. What is the law? Here we go. Mar Transit Authority surveillance video. Okay, so there was an altercation on a bus.
Hey, man. I think they're just going to roll out the robots.
I cannot find the law that they're actually trying to pass here.
Probation officer recanted his positive identification to law enforcement. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
New warrants were issued, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this guy is innocent. I get it. I get the guy is innocent. This office, you state among other things. There's a quote about like the reporting. Let's see here. Quote, you state among other things that Mr. Sawyer was identified by facial recognition and imply that the arrest was based on what, quote, despite all possible witnesses being unsure, that is not accurate reporting. You don't mention that after the parole officer said he was unsure by looking at a bolo, which was emailed to him. The investigator took the CCTV footage to him and showed him the footage. At that time, the agent positively identified. Yeah, there's no mention of an actual law going on here.
A call for new laws, says the headline.
Yeah.
Maybe a call for a new Lawrence. The guy's name is Calvin Lawrence.
That could be it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying for you, guy.
Anyways, there you go, folks.
Atlanta.
Protect your mind from the robot propaganda. They are very crafty, and the government's paying for it. That's your Flippy update for the day.
Are we in a trajectory where all race wars will be, like AI race war? Like a black man programmed AI versus white man programmed AI?
Yeah,
Asian
well,
man
I mean, that's the thing,
AI.
the division of society. These liberals on university campuses, they want all black meetings, all black classes, all black spaces, and get an AI in there that's programmed to be racist against white people. It'll be finally we've got some diversity, equity, and inclusion in the university system.
Yeah, as if there isn't enough fighting going on. At least it would be AI and robots. But that all depends on how much, advancements we can make on technology and microchips and things like that, which brings us to our World War III report here.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
This is coming from BBC. The headline, the U.S. is quietly arming Taiwan to the teeth. The teeth, Basil, all the way to the teeth.
Yeah, gotta arm the teeth.
To the casual observer, it didn't appear a steep sum. It was less than the cost of a single modern fighter jet. Taiwan already has an order of more than $14 billion worth of U.S. military equipment. Does a miserly $80 million more matter? While fury is Beijing's default response to any military support for Taiwan, this time something was different. The $80 million, which is being sent to Taiwan, is not a loan. It comes from American taxpayers. For the first time in more than 40 years, America is using its own money to send weapons to a place it officially doesn't recognize. This is happening under a program called Foreign Military Finance, FMF. And another set of words maybe that can fit the acronym there, the FMF. But anyway, since Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year, FMF has been used to send around $4 billion of military aid to Kyiv. It has been used to send billions more to Afghanistan, Iraq, Israel, and Egypt, and so on. But until now, it has only ever been given to countries or organizations recognized by the United Nations. Taiwan is not. Then it goes into sort of the history of Taiwan on the international stage there. It mentions how in the last decade, the military balance across the Taiwan Strait has tipped dramatically in China's favor. The old formula no longer works. Washington insists its policy has not changed, but in crucial ways it has. The U.S. State Department has been quick to deny FMF implies any recognition of Taiwan. But in Taipei, it's apparent that America is redefining its relationship with the island, especially so given the urgency at which Washington is pushing Taiwan to rearm. And talks about how Taiwan is severely unmatched against China right now. They quote Wang Tingyu, ruling party legislator in Beijing. More juice. You have more juice right there, buddy. There's a whole thing right there. Okay, I can transfer the juice to the thing. Okay. Okay. All right. We're working on it. All right. He says that the 80 million.
Transfer the juice.
Transfer the juice from this one cup to this other cup, Daddy. 1 second. Grab the other juice. And now I feel like I'm in a kitchen food show. You got to pour the drink to the other cup. Keep it balanced. Make sure you don't spill. You don't want to be wiping up watery apple juice later on. Okay. He says the 80 million is the tip of what could be a very large iceberg, and notes that in July, President Biden used discretionary powers to approve. You're welcome, buddy. To approve the sales of military services and equipment worth $500 million to Taiwan. Mr. Wang said Taiwan is preparing to send 2 battalions of ground troops to the U.S. for training, the first time this has happened since the 1970s. But the key is the money, the beginning of what he says could be up to $10 billion over the next 5 years. So yada, yada, yada. It goes into how Gaza chokes out a little bit. It's tough. It's going to be tough. The list of problems is long for Taiwan. The army has hundreds of aging battle tanks, but few modern and light missile systems. Its army command structure, tactics, and doctrine haven't been updated in half a century. Many frontline units have only 60% of the manpower they should have. Taiwan's counterintelligence operations, I love this one. Taiwan's counterintelligence operations in China are reportedly non-existent, and its military conscription system is broken. You don't have any counterintelligence in China? You don't have any spies in China? Taiwan, what are you doing? You got to get some spies in there, buddy. In 2013, Taiwan reduced military services, and they talk about how there's a certain training for youth and stuff like that, and how it's not going well for the Taiwanese population. No one's taking it seriously. In Washington, there's a strong sense that Taiwan is running out of time to reform and rebuild its military. So the U.S. is also starting to retrain Taiwan's army under intense pressure from Washington. Taipei is switching to a fortress Taiwan strategy that would make the island extremely difficult for China to conquer. And that is troubling to me. Fortress Taiwan kind of sounds like Iron Dome, sounds like some other things we've heard in the past here. And I think the setup for the great military-industrial complex trifecta, the hat trick, Basil, we got Ukraine, we got Israel, and I think in no time we will have Taiwan. And Janet Yellen will have to come out and say that she went to, I don't know, some country to take some other, I don't know, Quaaludes or something. And then she said, of course we can afford all 3 wars. Of course. We have a money printer. Do you not know that we have a money printer in the United States? And we can print at any moment, especially when there's a crisis. I mean, how are we not going to print money when there's a crisis? So there you go. I feel that the stage is set, Basil. They're really making things interesting over there when it comes to Taiwan.
We hear a lot about the funding, now getting taken away from Ukraine, funding going to Israel. And the whole time there's been this sort of undercurrent of funding, funding's not even the right word. It's just arming. It's the arming of Taiwan.
Straight. Yeah. Well, I guess it is funding, but yeah, you're right. It's more.
Yeah. But like anyone who, it's so easy to get caught up in the fury of the day that you sort of for a second lose perspective about the sort of full-scale preparations going on around the world. And there's not much we can do about it, but it is, for me personally, it's calming. It's calming to me to know that these sort of pinpoint attention they want to bring to any individual situation really is just a part of, just a much bigger plan. Doesn't that make you feel better?
Not really.
Yeah, okay.
I need comforting words from our president.
Armageddon's on the way.
Oh, I was looking for comfort there, Joe. Not facts from our president.
Well, at the same time, just some things to mention here. The Daily Mail had a fun headline. It says, next pandemic deemed the big one. They're already calling it the big one.
Yeah,
the next one is the big one, guys.
I know.
Could be the most contagious and deadliest disease known to humanity.
Good.
Yeah, just sort of like the most dangerous disease that's ever existed. It could be wonderful.
Yeah, it's called Neuralink. That's the virus.
Yes. It's called misinformation. It's called propaganda.
Propaganda.
The next pandemic dubbed the big one. See, this is what I don't really understand. They're saying they're describing a discrete pandemic in an order of many pandemic. The next one is already dubbed the big one. Could be simmering in the background, waiting to unleash the most contagious and deadliest disease known to humanity. Thank you, Daily Mail.
And this is like a team of viruses too. It's not like a single virus. This is like
a class. It's a family.
Yeah, a whole family. Oh boy, here we go.
The paramyxovirus. Paramyxovirus family.
Paramyxovirus.
75 viruses, okay, including mumps, measles, respiratory tract infections, and was added to the list of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases pandemic pathogens to watch in October.
Pathogens to watch. Jeez Louise. I'm kidding. I don't think this is going to do it. I don't think this is it, man.
They want so badly so badly for this to happen. Pandemic watch.
Next pathogen to watch for October. There's one every month. Come on. Is there an email that goes out to these folks? Newsletter?
I don't know, but I wish we could be put on like, podcast
National
to watch
Institute.
in October.
Yeah, National Institute of Allergy. Yeah, the NIH email blast.
One of the viruses, the Nipah virus, can infect cells with receptors that regulate what gets in or out of cells that line the central nervous system and vital organs. This variant has a fatality rate of up to 75% compared to COVID's.
A lot of 75s.
Yeah, that's a good point. 75. There's some 75 programming going on here.
75
but what does
years
it mean?
Since 1948. Okay, continue.
What does it mean 75% compared to COVID's? Like, that sounds like some statistical...
That sounds like numerology. Is what it
yeah, it's like statistical tomfoolery. I don't even know. I can't imagine whatever number that is in my head, which is well under 1%. Okay, so rate of up to 75% compared to is it 75% of 1%? I don't know. Scientists note that unlike the flu and COVID, our speedy shapeshifters, paramyxovirus, appear not to mutate as they spread, but they have become very good at transmission among humans. So you get the point. The tidal wave. I mean, this is like...
Is this screen
almost too much? Like, they're laying it on a little thick, in my opinion.
Okay, this is Daily Mail making this graphic. I'm looking at this graphic and I'm like, did the NIH publish this to their people? This like
super scary
bat-borne Nipah virus mortality rate 40 to 75%.
That'd be good. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
I know.
Anyways, they tell you all the ways that this virus can kill you. It's the big one. It's the next one. So
coming from bats again.
I wonder if RSV is in this family, because Pfizer has almost entirely shifted their marketing and their business plan around their RSV virus.
Yeah.
So it does say, respiratory infections. So that could be an RSV thing. This could be sort of a paid. Let's see here. We got one match. Nope. Oh, the one match is in the topics up the top. I mean, yeah, okay. It's in the tag. RSV is in the tag for this.
Okay.
For this thing.
Possible.
Yeah, that's what it is. This is a sales pitch for Pfizer.
Great. Always good. Daily Mail making that money.
Have you heard if the RSV vaccination is $1,000?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think I talked to somebody that did it for their kid recently.
Was it Mr. Moneybags? Was it the Monopoly man?
Maybe. I don't know. But it was somebody got RSV. I think it was before we moved. Anyway, can we thank some producers who came in with their talent? And
let's do it.
Let's do that. Before we do that, just real quick here. I checked the ledger, Basil. We do have somebody who came in with some crypto. Yeah, buddy.
Oh, great. A crypto
that
producer.
Is a
been a while.
It's a baked chip. You can eat the baked chip there. Okay. Telling the son about the foods that he's consuming. Yeah, crypto, blockchain.
Blockchain.
Where's here it is.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
With the consistency of the pseudonymous nature of cryptocurrencies, we received 33.333333 XRP tokens.
Illuminatus!
Thank you very much. However, I do not know who it is from, but it did end up in our wallet, and I believe it's the same address as the prior XRP contributions. So thank you very much to the person who sent us the 33.33 XRP tokens.
Yeah, actually, I think I saw an email about that.
Oh, was there an email? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can
it was from,
pull it up.
Let's see, the 3rd. So that would have been over the weekend? Or no, maybe even before the weekend.
Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sent... Oh, this is from July. Weird. I can't find the email. I saw the email. I saw the person tell us that they sent it, and that we missed it. Yeah, but the email's gone. I can't find it. So thank you to whoever you are, crypto producer. We appreciate that.
I see this XRP one sent August. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, we got one back in July. It's probably the same person.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it is though.
Oh, I see it. Ricky G. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't want to say a name in case I get it wrong. In case it's wrong.
Well, I already said it.
Name. Because that's the fun part about crypto is you don't really know who's sending you stuff.
Pseudonymous, yeah. You know that the transaction took place. You can see it on the blockchain, but you don't necessarily know who sent it. Okay, thank you very much for that. And then with that being said, we're going to do some thanking of producers coming in with their talent to help us build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. It's a whole operation. I know people... who don't feel like they can support the show financially. We understand that. It's a tough thing. It's a tough time right now. But you can support by doing other things, and contributing with your talent is one of those ways. We value your talent. So if you get any value out of our show, you can contribute with your talent. And to kick it off, we have art.
One art, please.
I think we have a thing from Dove, as always.
One art piece from Dove.
And the note accompanying Dove's art piece for this week's Bible artwork, I did an illustration for Proverbs 18:6. A fool's lips walk into a fight, and his mouth invites a beating. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you, Dove.
Yeah, this is
so
great.
Good. Yeah, love it.
Another one of his beautiful Bible artwork here. We've got this one's a little wild.
It's very wild.
A picture of it looks like a scrap yard alleyway, like a lot of scrap metal and broken cars and stuff. And it says up at the top here, a fool's lips walk into a fight. Man, isn't that true? And in the scrapyard, we've got what I can only describe as an anthropomorphic mouth.
Just
a giant mouth man. A mouth with arms and legs. And it looks like the arms and legs are
colonial
like pilgrim
or something. Yeah,
clothes.
pilgrim. Yeah,
it's
colonial
like pilgrim
times.
Clothes. I think maybe this is a reference to the Fighting Irish logo.
Oh, yeah,
maybe. He's got his dukes up. I
that's
think
true.
Maybe that's kind of the reference. And this big Honestly, horrifying mouth man is he's very angry. He's baring his teeth, ready to pick a fight.
Is that him that destroyed all those steel beams on the ground there?
Maybe
all
that's
shredded apart. My goodness.
He's ready to scrap in the scrapyard.
Don't get him upset.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. That's all the art we have. We have microfiction here. We got one.
Okay.
Microfiction.
I believe it's from Stefan S. Did Runk Smash send one? I didn't see it today, so I don't think he sent one. But Stefan S. has one.
Steven!
Oops. Wrong thing. All right, here we go.
One freedom fighter talks to another. Dude, this ultralight assault is gonna rock. Armed to the teeth, flying in country low and slow. But you know what we're missing? Boom boxes playing a Ride of the Valkyries. I think that was the correct voice to apply to such a sensitive topic, such as paragliding.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the accent in the context to the microfiction, and my brain was stalling. Yeah.
There was no winning there.
No,
and I think I did the best anybody could possibly do.
Yeah. Good job. There you go. And thank you to all the producers coming in with their talent.
That's right. Thank you very much. And if you are an artist or creative person or just want to get involved with the show, you can create some art, graphic art, music, microfictions, jingles, whatever you want to do, and navigate your web browser to canarycry.art. That's right, canarycry.art, where you can upload it to the show. And if you have any articles for us you want us to take a look at, to consider for the show, go to canarycry.report.
You know, I just realized we did not address the fact that last episode ended abruptly for us because my son pulled the main power. And I have everything set up so it's going through like a backup battery, but he just happened to pull the thing that pulls all the power. And that's why the show ended early.
disaster from last time.
Yeah, that's why the show just ended. I thought there was a power outage, but apparently it was just my son crawling under the desk there and pulling on things he shouldn't pull on. So thank you to all the producers, for your patience, because you are helping me raise a little rascal who likes to unplug the power while we are live. Special. Are you good there?
Yeah. I'm just pondering whether to address something or not. I'm going to skip it, I think.
Okay.
I think we should go straight to Antarctica.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Climate crisis.
I've been tracking this on and off for a little while. When we first heard about this, I think it was about a year ago. But this is CBSNews.com, and the headline here: 2 weeks after being accused of Antarctic assault, man was sent to remote ice field with young grad students. Oh boy, there's nothing good can come out of this. After being accused of physically assaulting a woman at a United States research station in Antarctica, a man employed by the U.S. government agency was then sent to a remote ice field in a critical safety role that tasked him with protecting a professor and 3 young graduate students. The man remained at the ice field for a full week after a warrant for his arrest was issued, according to documents obtained by the Associated Press.
At large, criminal at large.
Well, not just at large, but the National Science Foundation sending him for another project or another assignment with, a professor and 3 young graduate students, which I believe they were female, or some of them were anyway. Stephen Tyler Beinman has pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor assault over the incident last November at McMurdo Station, which his lawyer said was nothing more than horseplay. The case is due to go to trial Monday in Honolulu. In In an indictment filed in early January this year, a grand jury in Hawaii charged Bindman with assault by striking, beating, and wounding for his alleged attack on a woman at McMurdo Station just over a month earlier. The research station is operated by the U.S. through the U.S. Antarctic Program, a branch of the National Science Foundation. Quote, on or about November 24th, 2022, on the continent of Antarctica, at McMurdo Station, properly administered by the National Science Foundation, being a place within the special territorial jurisdiction of the United States, Stephen Tyler Bienman, the defendant, a national of the United States, did assault victim A, also a national of the United States, by intentionally striking, beating, and wounding her, reads the grand jury's January indictment, which was obtained by CBS News. The grand jury's indictment goes on to say that Bindman tackled victim A to the ground, put her on her back, and placed his shin over her throat, causing pain and strangulation. Oh, there's some loose references to some, movements or things that happened back in 2020 over the summer there, with the shin over her throat. Interesting. The National Science Foundation declined to answer AP questions about why Bindman was sent out into the field in a critical safety role while under investigation. The case raises further questions about decision-making in the U.S. Antarctic Program, which is already under scrutiny. An AP investigation in August uncovered a pattern of women at McMurdo who said their claims of sexual harassment or assault were minimized by their employers, often leading to them or others being put in further danger. And on Friday, the watchdog office overseeing the National Science Foundation said it was sending investigators to McMurdo this month as it expands its investigation or investigative mission to include crimes such as sexual assault and stalking. Okay, so it goes into some of the incident there, and then the defendant coming in and saying, "Hey, we were just messing around. Came in from a thing. The guy was drinking for his birthday or something like that. Came in, grabbed a girl's tag, and played, hey, keep away or something. And then he tackled her. Probably got a little too rough with her or something." So, I'm not saying the guy is innocent or guilty. It's just, the lawyer's saying horseplay, sure, but you can be a little rough in horseplay, especially if you're under the influence and, on the other side is a female, not a male. That can be a problem too. Bindman then took her to the floor, yada, 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 and there's a whole thing. So that's kind of the story. I mean, there's an interesting thing with the criticism of the National Science Foundation, just in general. Maybe, I don't know. They are the government arm that is in Antarctica doing the research and all that kind of stuff. But maybe there's some agenda to make sure that the culture that gets exported to Antarctica is of a certain kind. And if you look at the story, go ahead.
Justice,
right? It's justice, but it's like feminism. It's kind of, it's like a Me Too type thing, a Me Too vibe with this. And yeah, like girl power kind of thing. And, obviously in my mind with the sort of popularity of the Disney hit Frozen with, your Ice Queen Elsa and stuff, influencing an entire generation. It just feels like they're setting up for some kind of desire for the Ice Queen,
It's the Ice Queen. I mean, it's all part of it. I mean, Antarctica, the rich white liberal utopia, the bastion of cultural liberalism, a promised land, if you will, in the religion, the secular religion of America, which is social justice. Yeah. This is a message that justice will be present, that no man will get away with things he shouldn't get away with. And that's good, if indeed, I mean, whether something's horseplay or not, a lot of people get drunk in horseplay and commit crimes. So I'm not even saying that this guy doesn't deserve the justice he's receiving. But it's a very, very particular message being sent here that this is Antarctica will remain a safe place for the secular religion of social justice, and white men will be held to account.
I just pictured I had a visual. It's not a vision, just a visual, just in my head, huge boats with these like woke women singing "Let It Go" as they leave the shores of the U.S. and embark on their journey to the tip of the South Ice Mountain. And they're all dressed as
past
Elsa.
The ice wall.
Well, yeah. They're all dressed as Elsa, They're the whole thing. I just pictured.
Can you tell, folks, who has kids and who doesn't?
I was going to ask you, have you seen Frozen?
Sort of obsession with Elsa the Ice Queen.
No, have you watched the movies?
Yeah, I've seen the first one.
Okay, you should watch the second one. There's some maybe Nephilim stuff in there. There's a lot going on, and it's a much more mature kind of story than you'd expect. I think they tried to target folks, the age group as they got older. So
Disney and media companies like Disney are literally writing the programming of the worldview of our young people. We've seen the ramifications of this. We're living through the product of a generation being programmed from a very early age by those in power at the Disney Corporation. But the unsung victims of this propaganda plan is the parents who are also relegated, locked in a prison of repeating Disney movies, and whose magic is so powerful that it can not just write the worldview of a brand new robot, I mean baby, but of adult babies as well.
Yeah.
Being reprogrammed. It's very powerful, and we're seeing that now.
Yeah. Well, we will continue to track all these things and report it to you, and hopefully you can share it with friends, family, and it'll help you or your friends or family understand the world a little bit more. Not that we have it all figured out, but it's just we're just sort of a stop on the road to truth, I suppose. We got some signs, we got some pamphlets, so there you go.
Indeed. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We'll be back on Friday. We've got some pretty exciting announcements to make on Friday.
I saw the email, Basil. I almost blurted it out on out loud, but I was like,
we got some very good news in the email today.
Yeah, good stuff.
So we will share that on Friday. But thank you to everybody who's keeping the show alive. Those who are unable to, those who, enjoy the show, give value from the show, and just aren't able to either bring themselves to produce or aren't actually able to produce with their time, their talent, or their treasure. It's okay. For this exact moment, we will be able to do the next episode. And just a reminder to everybody, if you received an email, search your email box in the search bar. You click into the search bar, type in supply drop redliners. If you got an email that includes supply drop redliners, you'll be given instructions in that email. If you did not receive the email, it means that you are not a supply drop redliner. Just for clarification, only 44 people received this email. So it's a good chance you didn't receive it. But if you're wondering, you should search your email for that just in case. And T-shirt council members, the most important people in the world. Keep an eye out on your email box as well. The voting for the next T-shirt will begin shortly. And thank you to our Clippies.
Oh, we're Clippy.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're landing the plane.
Clippy on those videos. Thanks.
That's right. Thanks. I am going to address this actually just real quick. Thank you, Clippies, for everything you do. Go to Canary Cry Clips channel. Follow that. More to come. But I am going to address this just because I'm tired of typing. Look, folks. If I offend you in any way,
I saw something happening. I don't know what was going on.
I don't mean to offend anybody. It is not my intention to offend anybody. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who listen to this show. I cannot be responsible. I just can't. It is literally impossible for me to take personal responsibility for people who get offended. It's okay if you get offended. That's okay. That's life. But there is also no need to send me nasty messages that are just sort of puking vitriol.
No, that's part of the fun is reading some of those.
Well, the funny thing is because people literally say the most hurtful possible things to me.
People can be mean,
and then I email them back and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I did blah, blah. Like they don't
I
even
didn't think you would
about
respond or something."
Yeah, like they didn't think I would read it. They didn't think I'd respond. And I don't usually pay attention to these things. But here's the thing. I am an actual human.
What?
And so when you want to say the nastiest possible things about and to me, and I respond, and you come back with, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think you'd see that." Just take a breath, folks. We are living in a world where thousands and thousands of people can listen to one goofball on the internet. And it is statistically guaranteed that somebody will be offended at any moment of me speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot be held hostage by the responsibility for thousands of people's feelings. I'm all due respect to everybody in the chat, everybody in the podcast listeners, everybody on YouTube. Literally, I love every single one of you. The fact you're a part of the community means everything to me. My life is centered around this community. However, I cannot take responsibility for each and every one of your responses to things that I say. That is just science, a scientific fact. So if you feel the urge to really let me have it, just know I will probably see it. An actual human being with a mind and a family and feelings and a childhood and everything will see what you are saying about and to them and internalize it and be forced to reckon with it. Now, some of you are taking this as a invitation, and I can't stop you. But as I've told multiple people this week, I reserve the right to say anything I want on this show. My intention is not to offend people. I also reserve the right to remove any distractions that may pop up during the show. And I'm not going to give people warnings anymore, because in the past, I've gone ahead, I've given people warnings, I breathe, and I say, I get it. You're upset. There's no need for name calling. I get it. But, I'm trying to do a live show here. This is sort of a high pressure situation, and dealing with the interpersonal interactions with individuals, who knows, thousands of miles away, who I've never met, and listen to every word I say. I can't do it anymore. So I'm not going to do it, but my band trigger finger is very itchy. So think about that. Pray about that. Take a second. If I say something you don't like, take 10 deep breaths. Remember, I'm an actual human being doing a job that is observed by thousands of people. And I cannot be responsible for everybody's responses. That's just a public service announcement for everybody. That's not even directed at any individual person. Okay? So that's just something for a nice little bonus episode here at the end of this episode. And I hope you enjoyed it. A little perspective on what's going on this show. I get it. But let's all take a second. All right. Thank you to the timestampers.
Wow, I'm completely unprepared to move on from that.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Everything I said goes for guns too. Okay, although guns doesn't need it. Everybody loves guns.
That's not true.
Thank you to the timestampers. They timestamp the show often live during the show, and it means a whole lot to us to have those almost immediately. It goes into so much of the stuff that you'll never see. And thank you to timestamper Morgan E for doing the timestamps. 686 live. I mean, boom, they were just there immediately. It's beautiful.
And we got word that Twitter, formerly known as currently X, you can do timestamps now in the posts of the episodes. But of course, we post it while we're going live. I don't know how that works, but it's something that we'll look into. Apparently, it doesn't work on desktop. It only works on. I don't know. There's stuff going on, but it's weird.
They're figuring out the bugs.
Yeah, which will be great.
But yes, I mean that might be those timestamps that Morgan you did might be an integrated part of X, which streaming on X, Twitter when it was Twitter and now X. We used to just do it just because we could, just to have the show somewhere, just to have it in another location in case we get banned. But man, the viewership is growing on the X crowd over there. X is tuning in to the show. So welcome to the X viewers.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Sir Ike for the links as well. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And other than that, folks, share the show. Share it with your mom. Share it. Yeah.
Before you go into your whole thing here, just real quick, because I forgot to do this earlier.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com, look for a green tab on the right side or the bottom, click on it, and it'll open a window that allows you to record a audio message of up to 90 seconds through your device. You have something you want to say to Basil, for example, and you feel like you type it out. You're like, I'm going to verbalize this out loud. It might be a good exercise in restraint.
No, this is actually good. This is actually my best case scenario. Everything you want to send to me in a personal message or in the chat or something, anything that you really want to let me have it, let me know. Leave it as a voicemail because I cannot wait.
We will love to play that on the show.
To hear yourself, the words you use, reflected back to you in front of innumerable people. Please. I will no longer be taking hate mail via email. I will no longer be taking hate mail via DMs. All hate mail, go leave it in a voice message. I want to hear you say it. I want to hear you say the words that you are so comfortable typing. We all want to hear you say it. So this is an invitation. This is a command. If you have hate mail, you say the words with the voice that God gave you into our voicemail system, and I will play it on the show, and everybody will get a chance to either agree with you or not. That is the new system.
The Royal Rumbazzle.
I might just make a special button on the voicemail. Put it on the email.
Send hate here. Record your hateful messages
go here. And it's not the funny joke where, the comment, all hate mail will be directed to the trash can. No, hate mail will be played live. And you will have to reckon with
goodness.
The things that have originated in your brain. We all have the darkness in our hearts and our souls and our brains. And unfortunately, the keyboard has given us a safe way to get those dark things out.
Yeah,
but
mask.
Say it with the voice, mouth your mama gave you. I want to hear your deepest, darkest hate mail. Because that's the solution to pollution here. We got to get some sunshine on this baby.
That is true. I think people will be much happier if they can, express their grievances and all kinds of things, and just let it out, man. Let it out.
Yeah, it'll be.
We will do it. We will allow it to happen.
It'll be cathartic.
Nice
for literally everyone. We might not all get the same catharsis out of it, but we will all take joy in listening to you say the words that you thought were so good and I just needed to hear. That'll teach them.
Okay.
Do it. Leave it on the voicemail.
Real quick, we got one from Rochelle that I forgot to play earlier, so we'll
Which
play
is
it
not
now.
hate mail.
No,
Rochelle,
it's not hate mail.
Hello, Canarians. Anybody freaking out yet? Like, what is going on out there? Well, just read Psalm 2. Why do they plan a vain thing? Put acid in the rain, turmoil in the brain. Why do they plan a vain thing? Chipping away the foundation, plotting against God's creation. Wickedness always taken. Why do they plan a vain thing? The doomed children of Cain tried to steal his reign, break and weaken the chain. Why do they plan a vain thing? Winning you through violation, killing without hesitation, Sin City sensation. Why do they plan a vain thing? Wicked, watch your tone. He's laughing from the throne, taking nations alone. Why do they plan a vain thing? Kiss the Son, lest he be angry. He blesses all who trust him greatly. I'm out of time. Stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you very much, Rochelle, for that wonderful message and that beautiful reset of the vibe. And now back to the okay, thanks, folks. Is that all of them?
That's it. Yep, there was only one.
Sorry. Okay, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your worst enemies. We've all got that person. Oh, we don't even know them. We might not even know their real name, but we see them. We see their tweets. We see what they say, their bad opinions. We see exactly what's going on. We know them better than they know themselves because we have discernment. The Lord has given us the power to discern their real heart, their real intentions. They might think they're clever on the internet with those posts and those pictures and those all those wonderful thoughts that they have they're putting out into the world. But we know. Share it with those people. Those are the people. That's, the Jesus said to love your enemy. So pick your enemy, pick them out, show them to us. And then send them the podcast. They probably need the podcast more than anything. And what could be better than turning an enemy into a podcast friend? Once you listen to the podcast, you guys will be on the same page. And then you'll have so many things to talk about. That's right. I want to see these links flying on X. Send them to Scott Adams. And whoever. I don't know. I can't think of anybody. Kamala Harris on Twitter.
Ben Shapiro.
Share the show. Share the show with all the people. It matters. It really matters. It matters a lot, actually. It's almost the only thing that matters is you sharing the show with people you agree with and don't agree with. And we call it rattling cages. All you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
Let's see. Oh, thank you for everyone who stuck around. I think we are going to have a Canary Cry radio episode on Friday, if all goes to plan.
That's the hope. A good one, too.
Yeah, a good one. And then it's possible we might not have a show Monday either because of some things
we'll have a show.
Up.
No, we'll have a show. There will be a show Monday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Are you sure?
I think so.
Monday the 12th?
I think. We'll talk about it. Okay. We'll make the announcement on Friday.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Okie dokie. Thanks, folks, for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage. Why don't you?
non-violently.
I love the Great Reset.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Armageddon's on the way. Feed him more. We're all gonna die. Give me a break.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
What we have is treasure in earthen vessels. Let the excellency of the power may be of God, not of us. We got trouble on every side. Yet not distressed, we are perplexed, not in despair. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Jesus, that the life also of Jesus might be made manifest in our body. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary, cry, that's support.